Now, is your espresso looking like this? I bet most of you are making an espresso like this and thinking that they made a cup of espresso. In truth, it's not. Let's begin and let's look at the flow of the espresso and the color. Now, most of your espresso looks like this, and they think that they made a good cup of espresso, and then they blame the machine saying that this machine doesn't produce a nice espresso. Either it tastes sour or it tastes bitter. Can you blame this machine? Now, if you look closely, there is no crema or hardly any crema. And if you notice the flow of the espresso, that was quick, and then the color was so pale brown, and those are the things that you noticed. And I could bet that this will taste sour. This is good to throw it out. I won't recommend you to drink this. Is there a fix to this? How do you make an amazing cup of espresso? A nice cup of espresso should have a lot of crema floating on top, and it should look dark brown, and the flow of the espresso should look like a warm melted honey just pouring slowly into the cup. That's how it's supposed to look like. Obviously, you look at the yield, you look at the other parameters with it, the taste, but let me show you how to make an amazing cup of espresso that looks right, tastes right, and feels right. So let's begin. Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to discuss and talk about a very important subject, that is low pressure in Breville Barista Pro. Now remember, we don't have a pressure gauge in this one, but the older model, the Breville Barista Express, it has a pressure gauge. You will be able to monitor the pressure gauge and say, no, that was low pressure, or it was high pressure. The needle won't even move or move a bit if you get low pressure. So what happens when you get low pressure? Now the espresso is gonna taste sour. There is going to be quick flow of the espresso. The espresso will look watery and it will look thin, and there won't be much crema. So those are the signs that you got low pressure or you got a sour espresso. And this is very common among most of the users of this, because they use the store-bought beans which doesn't have a roasted date. Now I keep repeating, for espresso, if you are serious about espresso drink, make sure you get the most freshest beans possible. That is, the roasted date maybe a day or two old. If you can get, that's the best thing. And there are many barista users, they keep making coffee every day thinking that it's the real espresso, but not. They are not making real espresso, and that's where the issue is, because they don't even realize that they are not making proper espresso. So today we are going to look at this issue of low pressure or sour espresso, or the quick flow, or maybe you're not getting any crema. These are the signs of low pressure. So let's look at it. I'll try to replicate the issue and then I'll show you how to fix it. The fix is very simple. It's very similar to the Barista Express, and I posted a video a few years ago, and that one helped many users. So it's a similar fix. So do watch this. If you're a Barista Pro user, do watch this, and let's begin. Now let's have a look at the grind size here. Now most of the issue will be resolved if you grind it finer, and most of you know this by now. If you are not getting enough pressure, or if you are not having enough crema, or if you are not getting that hot honey melted pour, that's when you adjust this. That means your grind is coarser, and the fix is to make it more finer. That means you have to reduce the number. Currently it's at 5, so you have to go down all the way up to 1. So let's make an espresso at this current setting. So let's begin. Here we have some beans, and usually I take 18 grams. So let's make a double cup espresso. So obviously I'm going to use the non-pressurized basket, and then let's begin grinding. Again, grind size is at 5. And I'll try to follow the same method. Distribute, tamp, and let's make a shot. And before that, I'll run an empty shot. That's good. And we'll have a closer look at the shot. So here I have everything ready, and we will mainly look at the flow of the espresso. If it's the right extraction, you should see something like warm melted honey pouring. If not, you'll see a quicker flow. That means you have low pressure. So let's begin, and I'll monitor how many seconds it took, and we'll check the weight. So let's begin double shot. Ready, steady, go. It took 25 seconds and I got 47 grams out. So obviously this is a bit more than that I wanted. It is not very old beans. This one I roasted maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it's not really old. That's why I got some crema. But if you notice the flow of the espresso, it was quick. Now you can have a look at the shot. It looks good though. The flow initially was good, and then you see the quick flow. I'm going to taste this. Let's see. I feel the sour taste, so I'll keep this aside. Now we are going to make another attempt. Now this time I'm going to adjust the grind size to a lower number. So let's keep the grinder running. And I reduced it all the way down to 1, and that's the maximum that you could go finer. So let's use that and make another shot. For the second test, let's take some more beans. So here I have it grinded and ready at grind size 1. So let's prepare and then we'll use the same method. We'll use the WDT tool to just distribute it and fluff it up, so that we don't want any channeling, so that it tastes different. And then tamp it. So let's make the second shot, and I'll warm up. So that's done, and let's make the second shot. again, we are going to monitor closely the flow of the espresso, whether it is fast or whether it has improved. That's what we are going to see. Now this changing it to grind size 1 should resolve most of the issue, or anything finer than before should resolve most of the issue. Let's see whether we can achieve a good number now. So let's begin. Okay, that took like 31 seconds. And if you notice, initially it started so well. The flow of the espresso is exactly what we wanted. It started well, but towards the middle, the flow of the espresso became quicker. And the output looks okay. That's good number, 37.9. So that's basically what we noticed. And the crema is still less. I could have improved. I could get more crema if I do some more adjustment. But anyway, let's have a look at the shot. Overall, it looks okay, decent. Less crema, but can we improve this? Before that, I'm going to taste this. Wow. I think the previous shot is better taste wise. This is a mixture of sourness and bitterness. I don't know, for some reason. I don't know if it's something to do with the distribution, but I did use the WDT tool. So anyway, let's keep it aside, and I'm sure I'm able to improve this shot. But how do I improve? Now, for a quick comparison, this is the shot that I made at grind size 5, and this is the one I made at grind size 1. If you look at the amount or the yield, this looks less, which is good. It's more darker than this. I don't know if the camera can pick up, and it has slightly more crema than that. So obviously there's a big improvement. But let's say you're not using fresh beans. Let's say you bought a store-bought beans and you may not even achieve this result. Now, if you look at the grind size, I'm already at 1. What else can I do? Now, this is where most of you are stuck at, because they already went all the way to finer setting and you're still not able to get that honey-like pour and that thick, rich crema in your cup, and sometimes it looks pale brown. And this is a very common issue, and Breville has thankfully provided a solution for this. That's what I'm going to show. Now, this is in the manual. If you have read the manual, you know the fix before even I say. But some of you don't like to read the manuals, so this is for you. So there is something inside the grinder which is called burrs. Those two burrs are touching each other, and that's how the beans get ground, and then you get the powder out of it. Now, those burr size, there is a adjustment there you could do where you can make it coarser or finer. Now, that will override whatever you have set here. So let's say you made the inner burr grind size to be finer. That means this can go back to a coarser number and you'll get the same result. And it happens the other way as well. So whatever you adjust inside the burrs, that will give you like a buffer space where you could play around with this outer grind size, and you have more room to play around. So this will fix the low pressure issue or even the high pressure issue. Now, they have provided this burr size adjustment so that Some beans, some particular kind of beans, they need more finer setting in order to extract all the flavors out of that beans. So they have provided that. So it's the same solution. So now we are going to have a closer look at the inner burr. Now before you can adjust the inner burr, you need to remove the hopper. Now as soon as you remove the hopper, I strongly advise you to use a vacuum to vacuum all the remaining beans which is inside the hopper or inside the burrs. Remove that. That's the first thing to do. I'm not going to show you everything, so I'll assume that you have opened the hopper and cleaned all the beans in it. So first thing is to switch off the machine, and now we could open the bean hopper. Now remove the cap and then turn that knob to unlock position, and then you could remove the hopper. Now here, this is where you clean using the vacuum. I've already cleaned it. My burrs are clean. Now you could remove the top portion of the burr, and in order to do that, there's a little clip there. Pull it up and then look at the red arrow where it's in the lock position. You go to the unlock position. So from there you turn to the left using the clip. Turn to the left and then you'll be able to pull it up. Now a word of warning, sometimes it may not come off. In that case there could be a bean stuck. That could be the reason. Anyway, this is the top burr and this is the piece where you adjust the grind size. Now this is the best time to clean the inside. If there is any grind stuck, this is the best time to vacuum it. Now in order to adjust, have a look at this. You could see fine and coarser written, and there's a red arrow in between. Now that's the red arrow shows the current position where your burr size is, which is at 6 in my case, and the machine default is at 6, and it goes all the way to 12 and to the finer setting all the way to 1. So all these adjustments can be done in this inner burr. Now in order to do the adjustment, you need to remove this clip. Now clip is the position where it's locked. Now pull it up both the sides, and once you take off the ring, you will be able to adjust the size. Now hold the bottom portion firmly and then you could turn the upper portion and watch where the red arrow is pointing. To go finer, all you do is turn the upper portion to the left, holding the bottom portion still. So turn it to a finer number. In this case, I'm gonna set it to 4. So the red point is aligning to number 4 there, which is finer than 6. So 2 notches down. And to make it permanent, you have to put the clip back into that hole where you took it out, so that it gets locked at number 4 permanently. Now a word of warning, if the clip doesn't go all the way down, that means you did not fit properly. Now this can go back. Make sure, again, look at the red arrow, point it to align or unlock position and turn all the way to the lock position on your right. So that's where you align. That's when the burrs goes in, and then twist to right till you hear the lock. That's the sound you need to hear. Now in my case, this clip is not going all the way down, so make sure that it's sitting properly into that hole. Now I adjust it again. Now it's sitting nicely. To readjust, all you do is remove it again from the hole and align it properly and push it all the way in. Now in my case everything is set. Now the hopper can go back, and make sure you align like a line facing to you so that it goes all the way in. Now you can lock, turning to clockwise. Now you could close the lid, and now you're ready with the new setting, that is Burr at 4. And now you can switch on the machine and continue. Now after changing the inner burr size to 4, now you need to adjust this back to a higher number, a coarser number, or else it's going to be super fine. So let's dial it back to 5. Okay, so now my grind size is at 5, and let's make another shot. So some more beans. So here we go, another 18 grams going in at grind size 5. Okay. So same distribution method. And then tamp it using the other side. Okay, I spilled a bit here and there. Okay, anyway, it looks good. Let's make another shot. So after you change the inner burr to 4, your grind size outer adjustment is at 5, and we have everything ready. And let's begin the flow of the espresso. Ready, steady, go. Either it may be choking, or it may be the right extraction. Okay, that's 25 seconds. Okay, that just disappeared. Anyway, it was 25 seconds, and if you look, I'm getting a lot of crema. It's still being generated, but I see towards the end there was a quick flow of espresso, and I got like 54 out. It's a lot, but obviously you see the difference. You got more crema than before. And let's have a closer look. Now let's taste this and see. Taste wise, this tastes better than the other 2 shots, and obviously you see a big difference in crema. Now I can still improve it. Now that's when I noticed maybe my grind size jumped to 6. I thought it was at 5. It went to 6. Now like I mentioned, we have more room now to adjust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this grind size back to 4 and see, maybe that's the right number. So let's adjust it to 4. Okay, now let's make another shot, and let's see whether we get a better result than this. Again, let's take one final attempt. Hopefully this should fix everything. Okay, so let's begin. Grind size at 4, inner burr at 4. Okay, let's prepare the puck. Okay, so let's do the next extraction. Okay, so we are ready for the next shot, grind size 4, and let's monitor the extraction. Okay, so let's begin. Now that flow looks good, and look at the amount of crema, that's 31 seconds, and see the amount of crema generated. Awesome. Now that gave me 39.5 or 40 grams, that's a number that I wanted, and look at the amount of crema. So now if you look at the flow of the espresso was like the warm honey initially, and then even the flow was decent up to the end, and look at the crema that is generated. So that's the previous shot. Obviously the crema almost died, but look at this one. So let's taste this while it is fresh. This is the best out of all. I could taste all the flavors. This is a very nice cup of espresso. Let's have a look at the comparison. This is the previous shot at grind size 6, which I didn't notice. I thought it was at 5, and this is at 4. Now this is after changing the inner burr size to 4. And let's conclude. So now you know how to fix a sour espresso or a low pressure espresso or a quick flow espresso, whatever it is. Now you know what to do. There is an inner burr adjustment where you could tweak and you can make use of it. Now Breville has provided that feature so that you can adjust according to the beans, the particular bean that you are using. Now it is recommended to always buy freshly roasted coffee from your local coffee roaster. If you can get locally, get it, and make sure those beans are less than 2-3 days old, not more than that, and then consume within 2 weeks. That's the best thing to do. If you are serious about espresso, you will follow those guidelines. If you are making regular coffee, drip coffee, the pour over, French press, you could use the beans that are bought from the store, or the beans that are a month old, 2 months old, doesn't really matter. But for making espresso, make sure you buy only freshly roasted coffee. I think I repeated that more than enough. I think that should be good for now. Anyway, that's the key to make a good cup of espresso. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you like this, please hit that like button. That will help me with the algorithm of YouTube. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, because I'll be posting more videos related to coffee. That's what my channel is mainly about. Now if you want to buy any accessories that I used, I'll leave the link in the description below, and most of them are Amazon links. And if you click and buy anything within 48 hours from Amazon, I'll get a small commission, and that will help this channel to grow as well, and I'll be able to buy more accessories. So make use of those Amazon link. If you use my link, I'll get a tiny commission. So see you guys next time. Bye for now.